So my question is, do you have any like fun, like behind the scenes Bleach stories, like with like the other cast?
The scenes? Yeah. Well, the thing is usually when we work on Bleach, I'm in there by myself, and a lot of times I'm the first one in, and the last one out. Yeah, so usually I don't have everyone else, right? I don't get to hear the others until I've already, they get to hear me. I don't get to hear them usually. So funny stories. I don't know that I have any funny stories or anything. No, not anything with the others, unfortunately.
Maybe like with like a convention or like a.
At a convention?
Or like fans of Bleach or like I don't know. I'm sorry.
I know. No, it's not. Okay, let me try to think of something. I can't think of anything that's like has happened with them. Let's see. No, I don't have any. I don't have any weird things with them, unfortunately. It's like I just have like regular stories. Like maybe the Bleach guys are boring. No, I'm just kidding. You tell them I said that. No, I can't think of anything awesome. I mean, sometimes I have this print that has Ichigo and Rukia, and sometimes I'll write, Rukia, why do your drawings suck so bad? And then Michelle will then like draw like a bunny or something and then color all over my face, or Ichigo's face. So there's that.
Feels very in character.
Yeah, it is very in character, yeah, sure.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Ichigo was real, and you had enough money to take him anywhere in the world. Where would you take him?
Where would I take him? I'd take him to, I don't know, Korean barbecue. And I'd be like, hey, do you want to eat some barbecue? And I'm sure he'd be like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, you're welcome.
When they came to the end of the series, but you know they didn't finish it.
Right.
What was your reaction when they didn't finish it, but then you saw like 10 years later they're brought it back?
Well, yeah, when it ended, I knew that the manga had more. And so there was stuff in there that I was hoping we would get to. But so I was excited to kind of move on to new things, but also at the same time I was bummed that it was going away. And
I mean, they kept you around for all the filler too.
they did, yes, but that was all done. You know, we had finished that. But then the way we left too was kind of like, see you guys maybe. So it was great to be able to come back into it. And look who we have here.
Hi. Sorry.
Welcome, David Vincent, Michelle Ruff.
Sorry.
Where did Wally go?
Wally just disappeared.
Wally.
I think he must be sitting in the audience.
Up here.
Oh, there.
Oh my God.
Oh, great.
I'm like, who is whistling?
He didn't even skip a beat too. He just slid right.
I know, he really did.
Totally.
You know what? Hey, so the question was,
I want to
what
see
did
this
it feel
panel. I heard it's
like-
awesome.
What did it feel like when the show kind of had that initial ending that wasn't complete,
Yeah.
and then hearing that it was coming back?
A lot like my wedding night. Very unsatisfactory.
Oh my God.
No, but anyway.
Felt like the sneeze that you have that's coming and it's coming and it's coming and then it just goes away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of sneezing on my wedding night. So
I will give you a serious answer. I was really bummed when the first arc ended. And I think even back then we knew there was a second arc. Wasn't there like something in the works at that point? Or the manga?
The manga. We knew
Yeah.
the manga had more.
So we were all, I know Johnny and I talked about like, out at conventions, gosh, I wonder if we're ever going to see, 1,000-Year Blood War. And then when it was announced, and I don't know when you got the call, but for me, it was like 6 months later. So it was like, biting my nails to see if they were going to bring the original cast back.
Don't you hate it when they don't bring the
Isn't that
original
crazy?
cast
You
back
always
on
have
stuff?
to think about, we might not be, like there's
Yeah.
a different thing where Persona 4, and I'd seen that they might be doing a remake, and I posted I was like, that'd be cool, I'm ready to do it. But then realized, they could very easily get a new cast, which they've done
They
before.
did, they did that to us on Persona
3, right?
3 Reload.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
they recast the whole thing.
So they'll probably recast.
So-
And when they
Well,
recast
hopefully
with celebrities, that is the worst.
Yes,
Celebrity
it is.
stunt casting. Every real voice actor has to absolutely hate that because, hey, we got Chris Pratt to do every voice in the world, and we love Chris Pratt, but sorry, ain't no Garfield. But
Yeah.
I want to know if you remember what notes you got, what direction you got when developing your voices for the show, or if
For this one specifically?
Oh boy.
Yeah,
I remember.
I remember the audition, and I remember I went in and I was kind of familiar with it because my drummer was watching it, and so I kind of knew where the character was. Yeah, and so when I went in, I was thinking, okay, he's kind of like a street punk kid, and but then I was told, don't do that. Make him sound friendly and kind, and I'm like, but that doesn't sound like what they're doing. He was like, yeah, but we don't. He said, do that because we're not sure if an American audience is going to like him if he's kind of too gruff or whatever, or has too much attitude. But the scene I was doing is he's like kicking these guys over, and roughing them up. I'm like, how am I going to do this? Sound nice when I'm beating people up. And then there's like the call. Then it said, and then also you need to say Bankai. It's like his battle cry or something. And then he was like, just do whatever you want on that. And I remember I just did what felt right on that. And then I got a call back, and then they said he sounded too nice. They liked what I did with the Bankai. And then I was told, can you find some way somewhere in between that? And I was like, okay, I guess. And so I kind of found this middle ground with it. And yeah, went with that.
That was the winner.
That was the one. That was the one. And then I ended up watching it all, like 60 episodes on like YouTube to figure out what was going to happen in the story. Like in 2 weeks, I just watched it all. I was like, is it going to save Rukia? But it helped me understand where the voice was going to be, where is it going to end up, and all that.
Yeah. That's cool.
What did they tell you?
Well, I
Sound friendly?
got I got the call back, so I went in, did the call back, and they were like, the producers love your voice, Japan. When you do a show like that, Japan has to put their stamp of approval on it. So I initially booked the job because I'm awesome. But aside from that, I think the original Japanese actress and I sound a lot alike naturally. So I think that was like the thing that pushed me over the edge to actually book the part. But then when I came in to do the first episode, I think we did it like 7 times.
The first episode?
Yeah, because I think I had like 7 sessions where there were many cooks in the soup, and they were trying to decide between everybody what they wanted. And I finally got to the point where I was like, you guys hired me based off of something that you heard that you liked in my audition, so can you just let me do my thing and get back to, because we were getting farther and farther away from the original, like what they had fallen in love with. And, sometimes that happens. It's like too many voices get in the mix, and then you kind of lose sight of where, like, what they really want. So they let me do it, and that's what stuck. I think that's what stuck. I mean, after so many takes, yeah. So we ended up where we ended up.
did they tell you which character they wanted you to, like, that they'd heard you already on? They're like, hey, do that again? No. They just said, we like you, come back.
You mean for the callback?
Yeah.
Well, I auditioned.
Did you
So-
audition specifically for Rukia?
I did. Yeah.
I auditioned for Ichigo, Kon, and Urahara.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're a good match for Ichigo.
Well, I knew that I was like, Ichigo's the one I really want.
Yeah, of course.
I had the question was notes on any particular feedback that I got. So I came in after the season or the show had already been underway for a couple seasons, I believe. And so I originally had gotten cast as in a pretty unknown version of the game, Shattered Blade. And that's where Wendy Lee was directing, and Wendy is just one of my favorite humans, and she was showing me the animation in the Japanese where Grimmjow and Ichigo are fighting, and there's this scene where he's just laying down, just a beating on Ichigo, and it was my first real exposure to it. And I was like, oh my God, this character is so cool. I have to play this character. So I did the Shattered Blade, and this was the first time that I started the studio, which I normally have never done this in a 25-year career. I've never reached out to a studio, but this character, I was like, oh my God, I have to play this guy in the anime. And so, but I reached out to the studio, and they're like, yeah, it doesn't come out for another couple of years. And so I was like, great. And so I checked in periodically over a couple of years and just annoyed them just enough, not to be too annoying. And then finally I get an email, hey, come in and audition. We're holding auditions. They didn't say anything about character or anything. I come in, and this was back when people went into the studio to do the auditions. Now it's all remote. But I go into the studio, and I see there's the script. It's Bleach. And because they didn't tell me what the show was even that I was auditioning for. I go and I see the character, and there's like 20 other guys, and they're getting ready to audition for the same character. I'm like, no! And so I go in and I audition for it, and the notes that I got back from Wendy was, David, you nailed it, And so I was like, yes! So Wendy Lee was always in my corner for that character, and so I don't have any real hard notes where I had any real challenges with it. It was really more for do more of that. And so I loved it. It's to me, it's been just a career highlight getting to voice this guy.
They said, I want you to read for this character named Renji. He's arrogant and irreverent. I said, why are you calling me? But I got in the old days, you used to get your copy and there'd be 6 or 7 paragraphs of lines and a little drawing of the character. You'd see him down in the corner or whatever, just a little hand drawing. And Renji had, the steely eyes and the eyebrows, and I said, oh, it's like a young Jack Nicholson. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to try and do that. So that's why Renji Ibarra seems to like to chew on his words from time to time. I'm here to kick your butt. So I said, yeah, there's a little Jack in there. They said, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, he's, that seems to work. So I was like, okay, cool. And then when I saw the first episode with all the voices put together and all the action, I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty awesome. So yeah, that's the story. I'm sticking to it.
Awesome. Thank you.
What has been your guys' favorite scenes to voice act in Bleach? Out of all of Bleach, what have been your favorite scenes?
Man, I got a lot of scenes I like. Yeah, there's far too many moments.
I love the whole Soul Society arc, for Rukia, because there's a lot of character growth, I think, that I wasn't expecting. So being able to go through that was wow, really intense. In a good way.
I think the first moment when Ichigo becomes a substitute Soul Reaper was pretty cool. I like that.
Yep.
I like the Grimmjow fight. I like the Renji fight. I like all the fights when they first meet, like Byakuya and Ukiura. Those are all really cool. Yeah, that too. There's so many cool moments. In Blood War, the first season or the first core, episode 7, when he breaks through finally, that was a really cool. That whole episode was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, same thing. It's the fights. For me, the fights are just epic. The fight with Ichigo and Grimmjow in Hueco Mundo, I thought was phenomenal. I had an absolute blast recording that. And, and I mentioned at the beginning of this, the panel, that when it was the first real kind of interaction between Grimmjow and Ichigo, and he just laid into him. Yeah, I'd never seen anything animated that way, and so when I saw it, I was really just taken aback with how cool it was. And so.
The saving Rukia, where Renji never danced to save Rukia, that was my favorite.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
Mine too.
What is like what you think is your most intense scene that you've done, either in the show or just in your general roles, either like physically or like emotionally?
Wow.
So many.
You guys familiar with Tiger and Bunny? Yeah, that was an emotional thing. I don't want to spoil it for those of you who haven't seen it, but that was a great character, single father, wife passed away, superhero, kind of losing his powers. It's a great show, but up and down, emotional roller coaster. Really great show.
Yeah, I don't want to give away any spoilers, so I'm not going to say anything about the scenes, but anybody in here see Jujutsu Kaisen? So I voiced Kento Nanami in that one, and so that was pretty intense. And then there was Bungo Stray Dogs. I do the voice for Oda Saku, and all I'll say is the bus scene. And I don't want to give away any spoilers, but yeah, those are some pretty intense scenes.
Wow. Mine would have to be a show called Erased. Yeah, that was a roller coaster. Oh my gosh. Ugh. I can't tell you how many times I cried during those recording sessions. And it was only 12 episodes, but oh my gosh, it was so intense. Just the basic plot, and I know some of you have seen it just from your reaction, so you know what I mean. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
I'd say Code Geass.
Oh yeah, I forgot that
Lelouch
one
has
too.
a few moments, but the final moment in the final episode of season 2. Good feelings.
Good times.
Good times. Good times.
Oh.
Oh, come on.
Forget it. I'm not answering that.
I guess Rukia's.
I guess. Thanks, Johnny. I don't, Byakuya's is pretty cool with the cherry blossom thing. Yeah. I mean, the new animation is
Yeah.
Jinx.
Ooh. You owe me a Coke.
I'll get you one from the green room.
I don't know about Bankai, but I have to say I love the animation, and I was so excited for Grimmjow to come back, and I had been just chomping at the bit for years, and even went so far as to harass the studio. And Jamie, who's just a lovely human being, and he just humored me the whole time. But
he probably didn't even know.
No, he was very upfront. He was like, yeah. But when Nell comes in, when Grimmjow makes his reappearance and Nell comes in with her boobs, I was pretty excited. Yeah.
Boobs? What? Sorry, I'm awake now. Sorry. That's my favorite Bankai. Just saying.
If Rukia was real and you had enough money to take her anywhere in the world, where would you take her?
Wait, Rukia's not real?
If Rukia is real.
I know, I'm teasing you. Wait, Rukia's not real? I'm 1 day old when I found that out. Where would I take her? Ooh, that's a good one. Maybe to Machu Picchu, so that way I wouldn't have to climb the trails. She could just fly me up there. Yeah.
That's probably.
That's pretty smart, right?
Answer. Yeah.
What were you gonna say, or what did you say?
I said Korean barbecue.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Duh. Korean barbecue.
You could just fly me over there.
Out of all the characters that you played, if they were in a battle royal, like your characters, and your characters,
between all of us.
Oh, all of our own characters? We're fighting ourselves, our own characters? Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh, gosh.
Well, I would have said before Thousand Year Blood War, if Sinan, Yoko, and Rukia were in a fight, I feel like Sinan might take it. But after Thousand Year Blood War with Rukia's Bankai, like she freezes everything, so that's like game over. Like you can't even shoot or do anything if you're frozen. So I would have to say Rukia. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Ichigo, it's like a toss-up, man. It's like Ichigo, Broly. I feel like Nero could probably be in there too, but now that I'm doing Dante, I'd go like, yeah, maybe Dante. It's like those guys, you know, there's always that extra thing that happens where they almost die, and then they're like, nah, I'm doing something else. I'm changing into this bigger, crazier looking thing, and yeah, so. Or Artemis. Maybe Artemis can take them all.
Meow meow.
Yeah.
I think it would be a toss-up with between martial law and Grimmjow. Yeah, what's that? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it would be a tough one, and then maybe I think that that Grimmjow would take out Gilgamesh in the long run. It'd be a tough fight.
So Grimmjow.
Yeah, Grimmjow.
Is that your final answer?
Grimmjow is my final answer. Yes.
Well, we know Renji ain't gonna win because he doesn't win anything. My money's on John Arbuckle from the Garfield show.
Rukia's heart. He wins Rukia's
I may look like a
heart.
dork, but I've got a lot of power in these arms. Look out. Oh, I would just coat people with lasagna and get sick Garfield on them. Garfield, lasagna's ready. Sick 'em. Yeah, having been a guy who doesn't ever really play powerful characters, I'm usually playing the guys who's the brain or the guy who's the utter, wimpy loser. That's a tough one. The Riddler, would he? I don't know. No, I'm sticking with John Arbuckle.
Good answer.
What are your first condenser microphones?
The first condenser microphone? The first one I got was it was a Marshall MXL. It was supposed to be a clone of TLM 103 or something. And because that was like the first one I was like, oh, I need something, but Neumann's are too expensive.
Yeah.
That was the first one. I don't think they make it anymore, the one I got.
Mine was, I still have it, a Telefunken Copperhead.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
I like it too. I also have a Sennheiser boom mic, so I've got both of those.
I'm going to be the lame-o who can't remember his, but it's a Spirit something. Spirit microphone is what it is. It's that one. It's really good.
Well, I'm older than all y'all. My first condenser mic was on a little GE cassette recorder that I got when I was 11. It says condenser mic right on it, so I know it's a condenser mic. It's gotta be. No, my favorite's Sennheiser 416, which is traditionally used in movies for boom acting, but it's so directional, which is really great. You can talk to the side and get the bass in your voice, or you talk directly into it, and it accents the treble aspects of your voice, and cuts out the leaf blower that's outside your window, which is pretty nice too. So.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much for being here. I think we're all probably going to head back towards our tables. We had to stop our lines, but we thank you so much.
Yeah, really appreciate
be
you
here
guys.
without you guys, so
Thanks,
thank you.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hey, man. Hey, don't worry. I'm just here just in case. This is your show.
Thank you.